If you've been told there's nothing that can be done about your tinnitus, that statement is accurate about pharmaceutical options but incomplete about biological options. Audifort addresses a specific neural mechanism that no prescription medication currently targets, the mechanism behind why tinnitus persists even when the original cause has resolved. Here's what's actually happening when you have tinnitus. The ringing, buzzing, or hissing you hear is not a sound in your environment. It's generated by your brain, specifically by your auditory cortex, increasing its own spontaneous neural activity to compensate for reduced auditory input from the ear. This process is called central gain. When peripheral auditory input decreases from noise-induced damage, age-related hearing loss, or other causes, the central auditory system turns up its own volume to fill in what it's not receiving from the ear. The phantom sounds are the auditory cortex's attempt to compensate for missing input. This is why silence often makes tinnitus worse. With less external sound to process, the auditory cortex increases its background activity. GABA is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system. In the auditory cortex specifically, GABAergic activity regulates the excitability that underlies central gain. Insufficient GABA activity allows hyperexcitability to go unchecked, directly associated with increased tinnitus severity in published Georgetown University and NIDCD research. This identifies a specific target, supporting GABAergic activity to modulate auditory cortex excitability. This is what Audifort addresses. Audifort delivers GABA as its lead ingredient in a liquid drop format. And the delivery mechanism matters specifically for compounds targeting neural activity. Capsules require full digestion before reaching peak plasma concentrations, typically 45 to 90 minutes. Liquid drops absorb through the oral mucosa and gastric lining significantly faster. For GABA and supporting compounds, faster absorption means more consistent plasma levels throughout the day, enabling sustained neural modulation rather than intermittent effects. Alongside GABA, the formula includes grape seed extract for cochlear microvasculature protection. The cochlea is one of the most metabolically active tissues in the body and extremely sensitive to oxidative damage and blood flow restriction. Grape seeds proanthocyanidins have specific published research on cochlear vascular support. This addresses the peripheral auditory component alongside GABA's central component. Green tea EGCG adds protective effects on cochlear hair cells, the sensory cells that convert sound vibrations to neural signals, through antioxidant mechanisms documented in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry. Hair cell loss is irreversible, making protective support genuinely valuable. 17 additional compounds address both neural and vascular auditory health. According to verified customer feedback, users with tinnitus report meaningful reduction in perceived volume within 3 to 4 weeks of consistent use. The neural component, GABA-mediated excitability reduction, responds relatively quickly once plasma levels stabilize. Results vary significantly by tinnitus type and cause. Audifort addresses neural excitability and cochlear vascular health mechanisms most relevant to tinnitus that worsens in silence, tinnitus accompanied by gradual hearing decline, and tinnitus that developed gradually rather than from acute noise exposure. These profiles align most closely with what Audifort targets. The most important expectation to address honestly: tinnitus didn't disappear completely. This reflects a critical distinction between reduction and elimination. The neural mechanisms driving established tinnitus involve structural changes in auditory cortex organization that nutritional supplementation cannot reverse entirely. The realistic, well-documented goal is meaningful reduction in perceived volume and improved daily tolerance, not complete elimination. Users reporting 50 to 70% reduction in perceived tinnitus volume consistently describe it as a significant quality of life change. Second complaint: liquid format is inconvenient. Valid preference. But the pharmacokinetic rationale for liquid delivery is genuine. The minor inconvenience is the trade-off for faster, more consistent absorption. Third, takes time to evaluate. Accurate. Give it 60 days minimum before drawing conclusions. The neural adaptation involved in tinnitus took time to establish. Meaningful change requires consistent supplementation over weeks. The formula requires daily consistency for effectiveness. Each dose supports the GABA pathway continuously rather than intermittently. Complete Georgetown and NIDCD research citations, full ingredient analysis, verified customer complaints addressed, current pricing, and official website, all in the description. Like if this helped you understand your options. Comment with your tinnitus experience. Subscribe for more.